demos and key scenarios. So before we start, let me highlight few housekeeping items. During the webinar, please feel free to post questions and we will try to answer as many as we can at the end. A presentation and recording of this session will be shared to you in next 24 to 48 hours. So with that, I would like to take this opportunity to introduce you to today's session speaker, Mr. Ravi Kanchan. Ravi brings over 12 plus years of experience in the IT industry and is a senior architect at Winwire Technologies. He's a part of pre-sales and delivery team and has been responsible for multiple client engagements. With that, I would like to turn it over to Ravi. Ravi, over to you.
Hey, thanks, Noor. Hello, everyone. My name is Ravi. I'm, as Noor said, I'm technical architect, part of Winwire's global delivery team, and my key focus areas are Azure ecosystem, Office 365, and SharePoint. Thank you all for joining this session today. I'm pretty excited to show you how we can leverage Visual Studio Team services for implementing DevOps practices in an organization. Quickly moving into the agenda for today's session, we'll start with, or maybe I'll just spend few minutes, initial minutes, to understand or present my viewpoint on what DevOps is and what are the key elements it entails. And then we'll move into a quick introduction to Visual Studio Team services, and then we'll jump back into the demo, which I have created for this session. And then we'll end the session with a quick Q&A session. All right, so get started. So since today's demo is focused around DevOps, and so it's very important for us to understand what is the primary goal and the objective of DevOps practice is. So as per my understanding, or what I believe, DevOps is a practice to enhance the ability of an organization to bring an optimal application delivery speed and accuracy. So I think the key focus here is the speed and the accuracy, which means that your ideas, features, bugs, or enhancement, how best we can push it to production using DevOps. And DevOps helps in that. DevOps brings the speed, it brings the accuracy, so that your time to market, or your time for market from your idea to production, and releasing your application to the end user is faster and accurate. There are a few key elements of DevOps. It's focused around process to optimize the effectiveness and the predictability of the whole ALM, application lifecycle management. And second is the people, to have a cross-functional, deviating from our traditional team system, to have cross-functional teams so that no team can work in silo. So your operations team understand what your development team is doing. Your development teams understand how my application is going to be deployed. So the whole concept is around production first. So when my developer is doing developing an application, he has it in his mind, in the back of his mind, okay, my code has to go to a production environment and how it will go. So this is overall is a mindset shift which has happened in the last couple of years, with the focus around agile and frequent releases and faster time to market. And all this, the process and people are brought together. The third and the most important element of DevOps is the automation tools, which brings both people and process together. This is a very high-level tool chain, which we think is very important for an effective implementation of any DevOps practice in an organization. The code tool which can provide version control. Yeah, like user developer should be able to write their code in a collaborative manner. They should be able to review the code and should be enabling the continuous integration. As we know, the speed is the key over here. Then comes up with a set of tools for your build automation, presenting continuous builds, and status reporting of how your builds are doing, how your application is building all together. Then the test automation tools, where you can create your test cases, test plan, and you can execute over your plan within that system. It provides the trackability, as well as you can present it to your management, how your overall test cycle is going along. Then the very key, then the next two, what I'm talking about, the package and release. These are I think is the core for when it comes to the DevOps, where these are the set of tools which provides you automation on how best you can package your entire application and how best you can navigate your packaged application from the different environment, that's like dev, test, and production, and how fast you can do that. Then one of the more big objective of DevOps is configuring your environment. So it's now as we live in an environment, in an era where cloud computing is very prevalent. So you have a very unique opportunity where you can spin up a new VM, or you can decommission your VM at a very fast pace. So you should have some set of tools which you can use to configure your infrastructure. And then one last and not the least, your monitoring of your performance of your application in a live scenario, how your application is performing, how it is, how the performance of the application is your functionality working fine, are there any key parameters which we need to take counters towards. So this is the overall tool chain, recommended tool chain for a good DevOps practice implementation. There are many tools available and services available online in the market which can take care of these automation requirements individually or in a bundle. But what Microsoft has done is it has come up with a unique effort to bring these entire tool on a single platform with a unified experience to automate the complete application lifecycle end to end, to independently to overall to bring the predictability and traceability of the entire process. And the good part is completely technology independent and platform independent. So it doesn't matter which technology you are using to develop your application. So it be iOS applications, can be Android application, it just can be a .NET, classic .NET application on the web. So it is platform and technology independent. So these are some of the value adds what Visual Studio Team Services provide. It provides unlimited free private repository. So you can either use Git, you can use Visual Studio Team Foundation version controlling system. So it supports both bug tracking, work item feedback. It provides tools for that. Agile planning tools. So you should be it provides tools to plan your user story, your features, your sprint, and whole and your overall capacity around your sprints. Develop in any, as I said, it is technology independent, so you can develop in any language you want. It supports multiple IDEs, so it is independent of which tool you are using for developing your code. So it can connect to your Visual Studio. You can either be using Visual Studio, Eclipse, or maybe IntelliJ or whatever. It provides plugins to connect to each of these IDEs. And on top of this, if we come together, it's like all this sums up, since we know that this is a cloud service. So it provides an enterprise-grade service scale to for any size of team. So you can increase. So it is immaterial what type of what size of team you have, and what if geo-distributed team you have. So all users will have exactly the same experience across the globe. And also one is the very main piece is the continuous integration and continuous deployment capabilities which it brings in. With this, I will jump right into the demo of this application which I have created. So I'll just switch to my browser window. So what I have done is I've created one simple web application. So this is my simple web application, which tells me what is the topic of the webinar is, who is the speaker here is. So you have multiple links at the top. You can register, you can log in. So this is a very simple MVC application which I have created. And I also have a couple of more versions of this application. One is the dev. One is dev, and second is to support our application development cycle. And this application is hosted on Azure. So this is my Azure environment, as you see. So if I go into resource groups, I can see I go to all resources. As you can see that I have 3 instances of this application up and running on my Azure instance. Now moving to the Visual Studio Team Services. So this is the backend of my application, as you say. This Visual Studio Team Services provide the backend for me to manage the entire application lifecycle of my sample application. So this is my instance. This is my subscription for Visual Studio Team Services. I have my my project over here, which is tied to my application. So I just want to show you how you can create a new project. So I have one already created for myself, but you can create as many projects as you want. You can select the process template, whether it can be Agile, TMMI, or Scrum. You can also select the version control, whether it is Git or Team Foundation control. For this specific demo purposes, I have already created a project for which I have used Visual Studio Team Foundation version control. So this is my project landing page over here. So there are multiple dashboards, as you can see, which provides me real-time information on what is happening on my project. What are the user story currently team is working on? Who are all the team members are? Open stories, my sprint burn rate, and also other links, useful links which can directly take me to my backlog boards or tasks, etc. If you go on top, if you see this, we have many sections. So as I said, this is a unique experience where all the tools are brought together to provide the automated ALM experience. So we have, so if I go left to right, the code, work, build, test, and release. So each you can say is an individual tool for different stage of the application lifecycle, and they are all bundled together to provide the unified experience all across. Before I go into each tool, I just would like to show you some of the the settings which can be we can configure. So you can create new teams. So currently I just have one team in this, and you can have multiple teams for your project. You can define your sprints. You can create a new sprint. You can define the end date, and you can define the end date, start date, and the end date. You can define the security. So you can what you can do is you can create multiple groups, and for each group you can define a specific set of security privileges, what they can do and what they cannot. You can define your alerts. So users can define the alerts. Okay, when I want to get alert from the system, should I get an email when a new build a build fails or a new check-in is done? All these are configurable, and you can define your processes around these alerts. Then you can define your version control, who will have what access, so which group will have what access to your version controlling of your code. Then I'll go to services. Currently the endpoints. So currently my as I said, my web application is hosted on Azure. So my current, as you can see, that my current the endpoint, application endpoint, is Azure. And then you have your test configurations, which you can define the retention for your test results and all. So all in all, so this was regarding how you can define your settings overall. Let me move out from this admin module. I'll just go right into my project back. So first of all, I'll just go into the code and just demonstrate few key functionalities over here. So this is my code base, DevOps sample, and there are multiple, as you can see, that this is my complete code repository, and my files. I can select anything. So as I said, so you don't need to come over here and do all this what I'm doing right now. So you can do it very well from your IDE, which is installed on your desktop. So you can connect to the Visual Studio services and manage all this what I'm doing here. You can navigate your code, you can check in, check out, you can look into the version history, everything you can do from your IDE, and it is fully supported. Since I don't have a Visual Studio on my desktop, so I'm demonstrating it over here. So you can look into the history of this application, this specific file, what has happened to this file, who made the change, and when. You can have a very quick each line level history of what exactly was changed in a specific change set. So the first numbers you are seeing is like 5, 6, 7. These are the change set level each line. So as soon as I select one, all the changes done in a specific change set was selected, and it also tells us when exactly what the change was done and who exactly did this change in the application. You can also click on a specific change set and create a comparison view on what has changed since between say change set version 5 and 6. So it just give you a very brief of it just give you a line-by-line comparison on what has changed there. So moving on this, and then and top of it, you can add your comments to your code. So it's like you can add an inline commentary to your code, and which it will be tied to your profile in the backend. Moving on to the work piece. So this is the tool which is available for your entire agile. These are the tool for your agile to manage your agile ALM. So you have a feature set. So you can define your sprints, what stories goes into your sprint, etc. You can define your capacity. So you have this dashboard. You can move these activities around as they move progress, as team progress into a specific sprint. Then we have build. So this is this tool provides us the automation onto how automation to automate our build process, overall build process. So for the purpose of this demonstration, I have created this build definition. I'll just very quickly go into that and then maybe trigger a build. So each build, so in my specific build, I have certain NuGet packages. I build my solution, test assembly, and then package my application with respect to Azure, and then publish it to my drop folder. So what this single step, this build is doing is, it is packaging my application, it is building my application and packaging it into putting it into a shared location, which then can be taken up by the release management system and to navigate it through my environment from dev and production. So not to waste any time, so let me just also show you a few things. So triggers, this is very important. So I can define how I want this build to be triggered. Do I want a continuous integration, which means every time you check in your code, a build will be created, which eliminates any issues with respect to your code integration. If suppose your integration fails or your build fails, you will receive an email. You can set up an alert and then you will receive an email. So you don't have to constantly monitor your code, whether it is, you don't have to be worried about whether it is integrating properly or continuously with the entire application. So you can also do it on a scheduled fashion. So you can define a specific time of a day where your build will be done, or it can be done at a specific gate check-in where your changes are merged and so on and so forth, right? You can define your retention. You can define your build naming format. You can also connect it to the repository. So currently it is this build definition is connected to my project, which I have created for my application. So quickly, what I will do, I will queue one build. So here I can define in which do I have to build it as in a debug mode or a release mode, and what type of target CPU I'm looking for. Then it will trigger the build. So what at this point, what it is doing is, it is, since it is a hosted application, so it is looking for the host agent pool, and now it has acquired a host agent pool, and so once it acquires a host agent pool, it's like it initiates this, and then it takes the latest of your code from your TFS, and then it builds it up, and then packages and puts it into a specific library. So this is initializing the host agent. So while it is doing that, we can go on. So this is your entire test management test manager management tool. So I have some issues with my subscription, so I have to buy test manager to attach to it. So as you can, just to give you a flavor of it, So you can define your load testing, where you can define how to create a test. So you can define your load testing. You can create a test and define your settings, run duration, and what is the constant pattern, number of users you want to have, and what type of browsers you want to target to, location. So you can also define the location. So you can create this load test definition from multiple locations around the globe. So you can have you can know how my test application is behaving across. Last is the release management piece of it. So this is all tied. So you have your code, you have your agile tools, you have your build, you have test. After everything, once your package is ready, so you can define how and where you want to deploy. So this is one template which I have created for my deployment, as you see. So I have defined where I want to deploy and which specific web application location I want to do. So if I say manage, so here I have provided the connection to my Azure subscription. And there are 2 steps to it. One is that it deploys into the website and it runs the test against this my application. So as so I already have few builds created before. So what I will do is I will pick one of them, say this one, which I created yesterday. So as you see, it's like currently if I say that the name of my speaker is strong, so what I did in the specific build, what I did, I changed the name of the user. And so my release has started, and it will now navigate through the different environments. So, and I have configured a workflow where after each deployment there will be a email which will be shot to me, or it will be gated approval. So I have to have approval to move to a next stage in my application. So while this is happening, Noor, what I suggest is, since we are almost towards the end, why don't we go into the questions, and maybe I think once this process will take 2 or 3 minutes. Once I
Sure.
So once this completes, I'll show that.
Okay, thanks Ravi. Yes, I have a couple of more questions coming in. The first is, can I use a Visual Studio Team Services while using Eclipse IDE?
Yeah, that's correct. Absolutely, you can do that. As I said before, it is platform and technology independent, and you can bring in any of your tool. So whether it is Eclipse or UnityJ or Visual Studio, it can be anything. So plugins are available to do that. So it is 100% supportable.
Great, thanks. The other question is it possible to have Visual Studio Team Services to be deployed on-premise environment?
Yeah, I think, in fact, that's a very, very good question. So what demonstration I'm giving right now is from cloud to cloud. So once in a very basic scenario, what we have is how can we use Visual Studio Team Services from cloud for my on-premise deployment? So answer to that is yes, you can do it. For that, you have to install host controllers onto your target on-premise servers. These host controllers will connect to your Visual Studio Team Services, and then you can do these host controllers will perform actions on your servers on the behalf of Visual Studio Team Services. So yes, so short answer is yes, you can do that.
Okay, thanks, Ravi. I think we are almost at the end of the session.
Yeah, so
probably
sorry to interrupt. So I just like to show this thing. So my dev deployment is complete. Now it is pending. As I said, this is a gated thing. So I can. So this now has come to it is waiting to move to test. It is waiting for my approval. So at this point, since I have marked myself for the ease of this demo, I marked myself as approver. So I received this, is pending for my approval. I can provide in my comment. I can reassign this item. I can in fact defer it to a specific time of the day when I want to do it. So I don't want to move to test today. I want to move to test tomorrow. But my my development deployment is fine. I can schedule that. So at this point I can approve, and so as you say, I have deferred it. So at this point I have deferred my my deployment to the next to future. So I don't have to be available at specific time. So the system will automatically picks up the build and deploy it in my test environment and send across email for that action. Yeah. So over to you, Noor. I'm almost done.
Sure. Can you just move to the last slide, Ravi?
Yeah, sure.
Sure. Thanks, Ravi. Thanks for taking time to quickly run us through this wonderful demo. I know we are already over short of the time. So again, I would like to take this opportunity to thank everyone for taking time to join this webinar, and I hope you found it informative and useful. As you can see, our next webinar is on ASP.NET 5, which is on July 13th at 9 a.m. Pacific time. And we will look forward to you joining to our next webinar. Thanks and have a good day. Thanks, Ravi. Have a good day.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks for joining this this session. It was my pleasure. Thank you.